Yesterday, churches in California were given a major victory when a California federal district court judge issued the first statewide permanent injunction in the entire United States against the coronavirus restrictions that had been placed on churches and places of worship. Now, under the agreed injunction that is binding on California, California may no longer impose discriminatory restrictions upon houses of worship. With me now to talk about the legal struggle behind this victory is Matt Staver, founder and chairman of Liberty Counsel, which filed the lawsuit against the California government on behalf of Harvest Rock Church and Harvest International Ministry. Matt, welcome back to the program.
Thank you, Tony. It's good to be with you.
Congratulations. A major victory for Liberty Counsel.
It's a major victory. It's the first in the nation, statewide, permanent injunction, and the district court retains jurisdiction into the foreseeable future, whether it's next year, 10 years down the road. If there's any violation of this order, California will be hauled right back into court for contempt of court and face significant sanctions. So this is a great victory, and it covers every church and place of worship in California. And as you know, there are some churches that were fined over $3 million. All of those will go away because of this injunction.
Well, again, tremendous job on behalf of Liberty Counsel. Of course, Harvest Church, Pastor Chairman, who is the pastor there. I've spoken in his church. You have to have pastors willing to stand up so that you can defend their rights.
Yeah, in fact, I was just talking to Pastor Che, and he got pushed back when he made this decision, but he put his hand to the plow and he didn't look back. People falsely accused him, saying you're going to have super spreaders, you don't care about people, all of which was false and none of which happened. But also, he got a letter from the Pasadena criminal prosecutor threatening him, his staff, and get this, Tony, anybody who comes to church with daily criminal charges up to 1 year in prison and daily fines of $1,000. And so he had to tell his church members, and he had to put it out in his media sources, that we just got this letter, and if you come to church, I just want you to know you could face criminal charges. Well, he wondered whether people would just simply not come to church anymore. There was a few, but very few. And in fact, what happened is more people who were looking for churches, even unbelievers, started coming to this church, and he's seen revival taking place in his churches throughout California and throughout the state of California. And I know other pastors are seeing the same thing. Pastors that stood up against this adversity, this persecution, they're seeing revival happening in their communities.
So as a part of this settlement, the governor, the state of California, agreed to the stipulations in this, or it was forced upon them?
Well, it was forced upon them. They ultimately agreed. We actually were approached by them. We went to the Supreme Court twice, and we got two victories, one on December the 3rd, 2020, and then the most recent one, February 5, 2021. But those were temporary victories. And then we were pursuing the ultimate permanent injunction at the Court of Appeals. But the court gave us a long time in advance down the road oral argument dates, July, August, September. We couldn't wait that long. So we filed our third emergency injunction at the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. And after that, they came back and said, you know what, we need to settle this case. The handwriting was on the wall. It wasn't a matter of if we would win at this point. It was a matter of when. And they saw that. They realized it. And then we presented them what the criteria would be. They first gave us some minimal proposal, and we said, no, we want a full-blown, complete total settlement, complete equal treatment, no more discrimination across the board. They ultimately agreed. We entered in the settlement, the court approved it, and now it's a binding court order. And as a result, they also have to pay $1.35 million to compensate a portion of our time and expenses, our attorney's fees and costs that we expended. This case involved thousands of hours, day and night, early mornings, weekends, holidays, for a number of months.
So, Matt, this sets not just for this pandemic, the way they did it, but as you said, this is binding. So if there's another outbreak a year from now, 5 years from now, they cannot do what they have done over the past year.
Exactly. Originally they came and they said, let's just talk about the time and reimbursement. We said, no, we're not in this for that. We want a permanent relief. We don't want to ever go down this road again. And so that's when we entered into the settlement negotiations on the order that's now been entered. And that means it doesn't matter whether it's COVID, this governor, or some future governor, whether it's some other, crisis that they declare, they can never do what's happened in California again. That'll never be repeated. And that's the importance of this particular permanent statewide injunction.
Extremely important. And again, job well done, Matt Staver. Let me ask you this final question. Will this influence other states? May we see them kind of backing off as a result of this court decision?
Well, we've already seen states backing off because of the multiple Supreme Court trips that have happened, and we've had 5 of those cases. There have been 12 different cases at the Supreme Court. We filed 5. And so as a result, they started to back off, and California started to see the handwriting on the wall. But this will actually help those dominoes fall. In fact, Tony, we've already filed this settlement in all the other cases where we're litigating around the country. Maine right now is the most restrictive in the country. And our good friend, you know him, Pastor Ken Graves, we represent him there with Calvary Chapel of Bangor. So we are moving to knock down the rest of the dominoes, and we are using this settlement as a catalyst, showing that the handwriting is on a wall. They just need to ultimately wave the red flag. They need to do the right thing, and they never need to go down this road again. We want to make sure that that never happens. Our goal is to make sure we never go across this bridge ever again. Caesar never can go and touch these churches anymore. That's our ultimate goal, and that's what we're working on around the country.
Well, Matt Staver, job well done. Thanks so much for joining us today.